Your next phone is probably going to cost more, not because the screen got bigger, not because the camera got better, it's because of something most people never think about. And once you understand what's happening with RAM right now, you realize this is not just a phone problem, it's a tech industry problem. Let's start simple. RAM is your phone's short-term memory. It's what keeps apps open, lets you multitask, and makes everything feel smooth. More RAM doesn't usually make your phone faster, rather it makes it feel less frustrating, and that's why over the last few years RAM numbers exploded. All of a sudden 4GB became 8GB, 8GB became 16GB, and now even mid-range phones are pushing 16GB. But here's the thing, for most of smartphone history, RAM was relatively cheap, predictable in price, easy to plan around. That is no longer true. Right now RAM prices are doing something the industry hasn't seen before. They're not just increasing, they are swinging widely. In some cases 50% increases, then 100%, sometimes even 200% fluctuations. And the scary part is companies often don't know what RAM will cost next month, let alone next year. So what costs this? The short answer is AI. The long answer is more interesting. You see, every AI system, whether it's image generation, video generation, language models, or recommendation systems, need huge amounts of memory. Not storage, memory. Data needs to be loaded, processed, dumped, and reloaded constantly. So what happened? The same RAM factories that used to supply phones, laptops, tablets, consoles are now also feeding AI data centers, cloud infrastructures, GPU farms, enterprise systems, and AI companies. They don't negotiate the same way phone brands do. They buy in massive volumes at almost any price with long-term contracts. So RAM manufacturers naturally follow the money. But this results in less supply for consumer electronics and more demand from AI. Prices go up unpredictably. So now phone companies are stuck. They have two options and both are bad. Option one is to raise prices and keep the same RAM, keep performance, but increase the phone's price. This makes companies look greedy even when they are just trying to survive. Option two is to cut specs, keep the price the same but reduce RAM storage or other internal components. This makes the phone worse and users notice immediately. There is honestly no third option. No company can just absorb 100% cost increase on a core component, and this is not just about phones. Anything with RAM is affected. Smartphones, laptops, gaming PCs, tablets, even small gadgets. And this is why laptop prices feel stuck and gaming PC upgrades suddenly feel painful. Value for money devices don't feel as impressive anymore. It's not your imagination. The economics have changed completely. This shift hits spec-based brands the hardest. Brands whose entire pitch is best processor for the price, or most RAM for the money, or higher specs, lowest cost. Because when component prices rise for everyone, nobody has value for money anymore. The companies that survive this era are the ones that sell design, software, experiences, ecosystems, identity, not just numbers on a spec sheet. This is why we are likely to see fewer aggressive spec jumps, slower hardware cycles, more emphasis on software and differentiation. So is this a bubble? Probably not, but here's the realistic outlook. Over the next 2026, 2027, possibly into early 2028, RAM prices are expected to soar high. AI investment is not slowing down anytime soon. If anything, it's accelerating. Some companies might be overvalued, some corrections will happen, but the overall demand for memory is here to stay. This is not a temporary spike either, it's a structural change. So when you see phones getting more expensive, specs improving more slowly, or companies justifying price increases, it's not always marketing spin. Sometimes it's physics, supply chains, and economics colliding with AI. The era of cheap ever increasing specs is ending, and the next phase of tech will be defined less by numbers and more by how intelligently products are designed around constraints. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you like and subscribe for more?